And after this whole ordeal, Sapphire, immediate star. Oh, 100%. My heart fell out of my butt because I wanted her to remain on this show.
Well, Dylan, you understand why producers had to extricate her from the process.
I don't.
Well, she could hurt someone.
No, she couldn't. It's arbitrary morals these producers throw around. Something shit on the floor. That's dangerous. That's a biohazard.
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad TV.
Yo, it's bad TV in your ears. I am Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one, Patrick Hickey.
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to be here indeed. Kalen is behind the desk, the board, the glasses. He's over there. Hi, Kalen.
Hi, Dylan.
So pleasure is so pleasureful today because what is today, Patrick?
Today's a very special day.
Today is none other than a return. I cannot tell you how much I missed VH1's Flavor of Love. I don't want to be hyperbolic or set us up for failure or anything, but the first episode of the second season of VH1's Flavor of Love with Flavor Flav might be on the Mount Rushmore of reality television episodes. Someone shits on the floor. There's a fight within the first 5 minutes. Someone shits on the floor. There are spies named Jizz. There are so many things from this episode that made me smile. You know, I was having a little bit of a tough day, and
Are you doing your clocks?
No. I'm just hopefully whetting the appetite. Now, everyone needs to go to, of course, the All Black YouTube channel and watch this, or you can find Flavor of Love Season 2, wherever you want to. But if you're like, oh, that's an old show, I don't really want to watch that.
It's on Tubi for free, by the way.
I want to watch The Idol with Johnny Depp's daughter and, kind of follow through that kind of meta criticism of influence culture. What I'm telling you, don't do that. Watch Flavor of Love season 2.
No. Season 2, A Flavor of Love.
Now we've covered
magical.
We've covered the first season of this show a long time ago. You can find that at Patreon. God help us if that ever gets unearthed. I have not the faintest idea what we said back then. But we're here to break down season 2 for everybody on the Bad TV feed, and I could not be more excited. Patrick, do you want to get to your clocks?
Oh, I'd love to.
What
Dylan.
time is it?
We have Flavor of Love. We have Big Dick Rick, his side man.
Yeah.
We have 20 women that escaped a padded room to be on this show. We have an episode titled Somethin' Stinkin' Up in the House of Flavor. And as Dylan pointed out very aptly, someone shits on the floor.
And someone is something. Yeah.
That gets me to my second point about this magical journey that we're on. It's how Flavor of Love renames his flock.
The naming ceremony is one of the most powerful tropes in reality television.
I could watch it for 8 hours just to give a little taste.
There's so much to, sorry to interrupt, but I just am so passionate about your passion for the naming ceremony.
Renaming.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to hold off because we'll talk about it during the naming ceremony.
His
renaming,
process for renaming women should be studied. Yo, you're wearing a hat. Your name is Hats.
Well, what Flavor of Love does in the renaming ceremony is he communes with muse-like influences at warp speed. People have distrusts of their gut instinct. They have distrust of their creative drive. Not Flav. Flav sees a woman and he says, you have eyes. I'm going to call you Eyes. Now, it's brilliant because another thing that we didn't say is that, or did we? Sorry, I'm a little high. This episode has a mole. I mean, she's called Eyes because she's a spy. But I don't think he thought that far into it. I think he just saw that she had eyes and called her that.
He called some girl something.
Yeah. He called another one like that.
Like that.
How many clocks?
Let me bookend it.
Okay, sorry.
It was a different time. I don't know how you got away with this. 2 women in the first 5 minutes. If one literally beats the shit out of the other one, somehow
I mean, it is a lopsided bout. One is a Girl Scout from the cover of the Thin Mint grown up, and the other is a woman named Sapphire from Crenshaw. Guess who loses the fight?
The producers got the 2 of them to sit in a room together.
Yeah, like they're going to the principal's office, and the principal is Flavor Flav. Oh, but get this. The vice principal is a guy named Big Dick Rick.
Get ready, people. 100 clocks.
Yeah, I can't give it anything other than 100 clocks. This is, like I said, I don't want to sully the legacy of Abraham Lincoln by giving this the Abe Lincoln spot on Mount Rushmore, but I guess it kind of makes sense.
Well, I'll say this, and we'll start the show. This was the episode we watched was one day, the first day of filming. I don't think Francis got this much good shit on the first day of Godfather. I truly don't.
No. Francis was still fighting with the Paramount brass and
still trying to find out, who was going to be who.
Well, yeah, and Al was fighting with everybody trying to get that picture made. Kaylin, how many clocks do you give it?
I give it 100 clocks. I haven't seen it, but damn, does this sound good?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, does this not sound really, really good? I can't find my notes, so please
Let me get
take
started.
it away.
All right, so our narrative gets laid out. We have 20 women that have one thing in common. There's like our narrator lays this out. I think it was a white guy, by the way, but they all claim to want the heart of one very skinny little black man.
Yeah.
That being Flavor of Love. And he arrives to his rented house in Sherman Oaks, California, adorned with rings, a fresh grill, of course, a clock, because Flav always needs to know what time it is. Right. And then we look back at Flav's stints on his various highly exploitive VH1 TV offerings. He was on Surreal Life. He fell in love with Bridget Nielsen. They had like 2 seasons. Then we get to how they all broke his heart, and they weren't here for the right reasons, because people aren't always honest with their heart, as Flav says.
No.
Hottie, Pumpkin, Hoops, and I believe one was actually a man from the first season.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hoops really let him down.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, now that I've opened my notes, I do want to take a little bit of time to just kind of broad stroke the heartbreak that Flav felt during the first season. Now, first off, the omniscient narrator of this journey is Big Dick Rick.
Oh, that is Big Dick Rick.
Or somebody that sounds like him. And he says, there are 20 women coming to the show, and they all say that they love Flavor Flav. They all claim to love. It's like they're not giving Flav credit straight out of the gate. The omniscient narrator is saying, there's no way these women are into this guy. Which, again, is hurtful to Flav, because Flav is a good guy. He may sexually harass women during naming ceremonies by smacking name tags on their breasts and their ass. Maybe he's not the greatest guy. So, not only did Hottie break his heart in season 1, while that was happening, the white woman in cornrows watching on in the background, Pumpkin, she also broke his heart. And then finally, Hoops does. That was a love that I think you, I, and our former co-host, who is not dead, thought was going to work.
They were going to go the distance.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
So the reason why this first episode is so solid is you have the archetypes of Flavor of Love just straight out of the gate. You have the white chick who's into astrology. You have the white chick who you wouldn't think was white if you just heard her talk. You have the black girl who looks like she can cook very well. Flav needs that. He needs the big bitches that can make the shit for him. You know, he's had a couple of those. That's an important archetype for him.
And don't forget the girl with the speech impediment.
Who sounds like Mike Tyson.
Right.
Very niche archetype, but an archetype nonetheless. So we go explore the house, and we, within seconds, have our first fight. There aren't enough beds in the manor, and Flav has purposefully limited the number of the beds. And what this leads to is quite the brawl.
Do we want to play our first clip of our coverage, our recap of Flavor of Love?
Yeah, this is our first clip of the season. Kaylin?
I don't think so. It's mine. No, I'm not eating. I think you are. I think I'm not. Well, then I guess we're going to be both on this bed. Go sit on my flowers. This is not your bed. I was on this bed first. Hey, don't touch my stuff. I was on this bed first. Hey, don't play. Do not touch, do not. Don't play. Oh, hell no. Don't play. Don't play, bitch. Don't you ever put your fucking hands on me. I'm going to hit you.
Okay, you can cut it.
I have to say this.
Francis did not get anything even remotely close out of Khan that first day on set. He had to have a talk with him.
What was that little
I'd
white
rather
girl
watch a
thinking?
Lopsided cat fight than your performance.
My God. Well, Big Dick Rick and Flav come to the rescue.
Yeah.
And they immediately say they don't condone this type of activity and violence in the crib.
Yeah. Right.
So thank God for that.
We do have the clip of the principal's office, right? That we need to get to.
Yeah, we'll get there. There's a couple other things though.
Okay.
So it's at this point, one of the ladies that weren't punching each other in the face, they make their way to the libations at the
so
bar.
this is another trope of VH1 reality television. And someone later on in the episode asks, how did they find these women? Did they just go into a bar and say, does anyone want to be on TV? And she asks that earnestly, but I would say to her earnestly, 100%.
Yes.
They went to Cabo Cantina or Yard House or
That place was popping then.
or a Caro's or a Sizzler and said, who wants to be on this show? And that's how they cast it. But obviously, because of that pain, there's always one girl who gets just destroyed drunk the first night.
Yes.
We saw it in Bret Michaels' Quest for Love. In Rock of Love, it was Tiffany. It was Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. And tonight, it is Toasty.
Who had yet to be named.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing a drunk girl get blacked out.
Now, we go back and forth between these scenes, and we get to a really sweet moment between Sapphire and H-Town.
Now, I always appreciate when a victor in a battle makes a peace offering.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But of course, it was rudely turned down. Play the clip. This is, do you want some chapstick or something?
Yeah.
You want some lip chap?
Okay.
So, that's...
I want to say something about Sapphire.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and get her on the show.
I mean, I would love to talk to Sapphire.
She's doing very well for herself.
Good.
She later, in another incarnation of this show called Charm School, won Charm School. They brought her back.
She looked familiar to me.
And then she has launched a lip chap line.
Oh, wow.
Very successful.
Wow. Oh, wow. So this was an iconic line.
Oh, yes.
And I understand why it was why it reached that level, because it had everything. It had sisterhood, it had humility, it had forgiveness, it had bygones be bygones. But they didn't get over the hump so quickly because Sapphire does need to set the record straight. It's a little clip heavy, but Kaylin, play the third clip of the evening.
You shouldn't be hitting people. I won't hit you no more. You don't hit me first. I'm sorry if I hit you first, but I don't think I hit you first.
I threw your flowers and then you hit me.
You hit me with the flowers when you threw them.
Well, this isn't the streets of Compton.
I don't live in Compton.
Well, that's what you said.
I said 54th and Crenshaw. That's what I said.
Okay. This H-Town she got hit by a freight truck. She had no idea what was coming.
In 2007, we didn't think this was crazy.
And we haven't talked about the actual fight. Sapphire throws she goes into full guard. She could have fucking ripped her fucking arm out if she wanted to.
Armbar.
Oh yeah.
She wrapped her leg around.
She wrapped her leg around her head. She cinched an arm down and she just started beating the fuck out of the soft spot of the cranium. Believe it or not, H-Town goes down early later in the night. She goes, I'm fatigued. She's concussed. All right. So we get to the principal's office. I
did want to mention this out of that clip, though.
Yeah.
They were doing the work to progress past
100%. And Sapphire drops to her knees in prayer and says, Lord, please forgive me for beating this bitch up. Lord, please prevent me from beating this bitch up again. And then Big Dick Rick comes out. We take we take what's that thing called when you have like a someone's talking to like a police? It's like an interrogation.
Oh yeah. You
like
got to get their statements.
Something like
you got to get some statements. So
right.
So we got to get our two girls together, and Flav's going to hear both their stories.
Yeah.
They're
So
kind of back to back.
The white girl goes first. She says she slammed my head into a wall. I have a knot in the back of my head because of how many times she punched me. But
I like how Flav, having yet to give them their new names, just refers to them as the white girl and the black girl.
Well, the black girl goes in next, and I wrote down the reason why I'm not using their names is because Flavor Flav calls them the white girl and the black girl. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this, spoiler alert, Sapphire will go home because we run the minutes back, we look at the tapes, and it was Sapphire who threw the first punch. Although I would say that H-Town threw the flowers. What's Sapphire supposed to do? She's from 54th and Crenshaw. She's going to punch her in the face if she does something like that. So I think we're firmly on Sapphire's side. And after this whole ordeal, Sapphire, immediate star. Oh,
100%.
My heart fell out of my butt because I wanted her to remain on this show.
Well, Dylan, you understand why producers had to extricate her from the process.
I don't.
Well, she could hurt someone.
No, she couldn't. It's arbitrary morals these producers throw around. Something shit on the floor. That's dangerous. That's a biohazard. All right, we have to get to the naming ceremony.
Yes.
Oh, the naming ceremony.
Oh, I was going to say, Big Dick Rick carried Sapphire out in quite a flurry of fists thrown and horrible things said. Oh man, oof. It was
kind of like Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. It was a good fight, but that's not a good analogy because Big Dick,
he didn't get his cut. No, he got stabbed in the chest.
He got stabbed in the chest, but Big Dick Rick's not evil, and Sapphire's not quite Qui-Gon. Mm-hmm. All right, sorry for Star Wars. Let's move to, and sorry for Phantom Menace Star Wars. You know that kid quit acting after that? He was like, I can't do it. Everybody made fun of me.
Jake Lloyd.
Oh my gosh! And also, my wife evidently ran across a video the other day of Hayden Christensen is at some panel, and some fan just said, I just wanted to say that we love you and we're so sorry that you've taken so much shit and you've been such a servant to this franchise, and we love you. And everybody stood up and applauded, and he started crying on stage.
Wow. Wouldn't be necessary if he wasn't so fucking horrible in those movies.
So he was a young man, and the only thing that he did after that, I believe, is that time traveling.
Jumper.
Yeah.
He's done a couple other things, but they're straight to video.
Yeah.
George Lucas can destroy careers.
Oh, yes, he can. Well, I don't really think it matters if you're going to work after this or not. I think you should shut the fuck up and read the lines. It's like, wow, that guy's really angry. I think he was like a cute science teacher in those New Balances and khakis, but no, he's a billionaire with a really bad attitude. All right, let's get to the naming
All
ceremony.
right, so we get to the origin of how Flav and his process works, how he came up with this.
It's so important because I'm sure the audience or a new green viewer is wondering, why does he rename people, and why is that, Pat?
Well, he can't remember their names.
Right.
So he does, in fact, need a sticker with the made-up name.
Yeah. Now, you'd be thinking, oh, obviously, that's a good reason. But then think about it a little bit more. You're, in a sense, back at square one because the names don't go away. It's not like he doesn't have to remember any names.
Right.
He just renames them. But then you think of the ingenious part of it. He names people names that fire up the parts of his brain that he needs to work. So he's going to call someone
Wire.
Wire. He's going to call someone Patience, spelled Payshintzz. Because that's how he's going to remember it. He's going to name someone Delish, and that's with 2 E's. And let's just go through a couple more.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So first up is Toasty. He can tell that she's blackout, so he calls her Toasty. He does not eliminate her for being blackout. He just says, hey, you're pretty drunk. I'm going to call you Toasty. And that's the end of that. Bucky is up next. She's buck wild. She shakes her ass, so he calls her Bucky. Wire is up next. Wire is astronomy girl. Wire is moon rising, sun falling. Wire steps up and says, you can call me Sugar Hips. Now, Flav says, essentially, shut up. Skinny white chick, you're not winning this competition.
Nah, I don't think so. Your name's Wire. She's like, why? Because you feel the electricity?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know. That's not why.
By the way, you know who's having the best time of their lives here? Is Big Dick Rick.
Oh.
He is yucking it up behind Flav.
Big Dick Rick is like a stunt man.
Oh, yes.
Who just loves coming to work. He just loves it. We've got some other incredible names like Somethin, Hood, and Eyes.
Don't forget Nibbles.
We've got Nibbles as well. Nibbles is a girl whose tits he just keeps staring at. Unabashedly. He just keeps staring at
This is the girl with the speech impediment, but I do appreciate Flav. He didn't just go for the easy one. You sound like Mike Tyson. But he did actually, the name came out of it because Mike Tyson bit a guy's fucking ear off.
Vander Holyfield.
Hence the name Nibbles.
I think he bit Evander Holyfield's ear, right?
It was, yeah.
Well, there's also, God, I feel tough saying this, but it's not behind a paywall. The show's a little easier to recap when it's behind a paywall.
Not here, though.
But listen, let's just talk about it. The next one comes up. She says she's not skinny, but she's not fat. It's like that. And that's why he calls her like that. But she is fat. She's quite fat. So.
How about the girl that's, he asked her what she does?
It doesn't matter that she's fat, but she is.
We call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
One girl, he asked her what she does. She says, I train lions. He said, it's great. Your name's Tiger.
And then someone steps up and starts singing, and he goes, oh, that's crazy. Or no, he goes, you have a beautiful voice. I'm going to call you Crazy with a K. The naming ceremony on Flavor of Love is unparalleled in reality television. All right, so just rounding out, the one that got the absolute fuck beat out of her is named H-Town because she's from Houston. Another one is named Bama because she's from Alabama. He loses steam a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But how could you not? There are 20 women.
Yeah, well, Buck Wild already has a name, and he called her Spacer for obvious reasons. But
What?
She has a huge gap in her face, her teeth. You didn't catch that?
No, he doesn't call her Spacer.
Oh, he called her Buck Wild.
He says, your name is so perfect.
You can keep it.
You can keep your name.
Oh, that's right.
And she says that means so much to me because I have this belt buckle that is adorned with rhinestones that says Buck Wild.
I just want to say this. Buck Wild is an amazing person.
Buck Wild is not allowed to exist in 2022 or 2023, depending on what kind of progressive you want to be that day. Like, she is just expressing herself. Everyone is allowed to express themselves in the way they choose to, but probably not being a white girl speaking Ebonics is not okay, right? That's kind of, I don't want to say it's cultural appropriation. It's not cultural appropriation, but the way she's speaking is quite nuts.
Yeah, well,
It
was her neighborhood that she came from, Dill.
Yeah. Did I get into hot water there?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, let's get to the mixer. Flavor is talking to the chicks about being down to wash his car and God saving, but we find out something pretty crazy this season.
This is new.
And this season we have a mole. Who is the mole? It's none other than Eyes. Her first conversation is with Toasty.
A house drunk.
She is sizing up Toasty, and she sees that Toasty is not quite Flav material. She's shit-faced, and she asks the spy, "Is your name Jizz?" And that's because Flav has poor penmanship. She says, "No, Eyes." And Toasty says, I thought it said Jizz. I mean, it's just an incredible show. Toasty isn't doing too hot. She's being bullied by the other women, like Spunky. And this is where Spunky asks, where did they find her? Did somebody just yell in a bar? Again, we'll say yes. Now, we have this very bizarre moment where Like Dat pulls Flav inside, and we get a chyron that says flawlation.
Flavlation.
Yeah, excuse me.
Translation. Flavlation.
Okay.
This was confusing.
Oh, okay. So there's
This is racist. Wow.
It's insane because they're speaking plain English to each other, but there needs to be a Flavlation translator.
Oh, wow.
It's insane. So Like Dat talks about how she's great. Flav leaves the conversation with Like Dat, and he sits down and moments before he had taken that seat, Nipples or what's her name? Nibbles is talking about having not having a gag reflex. Enter stage right Flav with a certain pep to his step. He sits down amidst three women and goes, "Hey, Nipples, what's going on with you?" And that's the show. That's Flav hearing about some woman's proficiency with sucking dick. He enters in and then just beelines to her and ignores the other women. Again, it cannot be filmed today, but this is when, for better or worse, we were just a little bit more ignorant.
It was a different time,
Yeah.
Dylan. I'll frame it that way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Thanks for helping.
there's a lot of discussion amongst the girls about licking clits and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's going to be a major
yeah.
storyline.
Right.
And I believe it's Somethin.
Yeah, Somethin is a bisexual. She says, "I would lick pussy." And that very same lesbo sits down with Flav and not only lies about being a total dyke, but she touches Flav's face.
Big mistake.
Which is akin to touching Bret Michaels' hair. It is not something that is done.
No. That's the first of the second dagger. The second is Spunky pointing out that she's a blatant lesbian in the house.
Yeah. And then I think they get into quite a brawl.
Yeah. So she says, I believe this was a direct quote from Spunky. She said earlier that she'd lick the clit. End quote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kayla, we have a clip of their fight. Can you go ahead and roll said clip?
Flav doesn't want
Do
you,
that.
sweetie.
Bitch, shut up. I'm something, bitch.
Well, we don't know what that is.
Something, bitch.
And pause it for a second. Now, what you're hearing is a woman in the throes of a mental breakdown. Continue.
I'm something.
I'm going to keep it real.
Lucky I can't touch you.
You better
Do
not
it
touch
again.
me. The only person that's touching me is Flav, sweetie. Whatever.
Because if you do it again,
Whatever.
bitch's glasses going in the motherfucking
He
eye.
said he didn't want a chick
Do
like
it
you.
again! Do it again.
You're psycho.
I think something is really over the top. I mean, this girl's crazy.
Can you pause it? Actually, she's not crazy. She's something. Someone else is crazy. Gosh, this show is so incredible.
Now, this is when Flav has a secret meeting with his mole eyes.
Yeah.
And she gives a very in-depth report of her investigation.
Yeah.
And to kindly put it, I think it overwhelms Flav.
It overwhelms Flav because there are 20 women. She says about 17 of them are not here for the right reasons, obviously. And Flav starts to, as you said, kind of get overwhelmed. He begins to glaze over a little bit. And this is where I love Flav so much. He says that he didn't listen to a word she said, but that he knows for a fact that she did her job. Because how could she not? She had so much to say. And he didn't hear any of it, but she said so much that he knows she did her job. Now, Flav lays waste to the psyche of the women and tells the girls that there is a rat in their ranks. And
I believe he did this at the beginning of the clock ceremony.
yes, he did this at the beginning of the clock ceremony. And he reveals the mole. This is the one problem I had. It is nowhere near. Is that one of Marty's homeless people running?
I think it's the refrigerator.
Oh, okay. The only demerit I would give the show, and it's nowhere near, it's not even worth taking a point away. I would like to have seen the mole exist for an episode longer.
It could have been tiresome. But Dylan, you point that out. But I also missed something from this episode that was very prominent in season 1. How about the process of deliberation with Big Dick Rick?
Well, Big Dick Rick, tonight is not, what with the research that Jizz did and it being a very easy, just straight out of the gate, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. Rick is there to help Flav with deliberations of the heart. When Flav is starting to catch the feels for hood, eyes, patience,
Nibbles.
that's when he's going to need Big Dick Rick. You need your buddy to let you know.
I hope he makes a triumphant return.
Mistake? Yeah, I think he will.
Okay.
But he tells everybody that it was in fact Celine Dion herself. Eyes, Jizz. She was the mole. She is let go. She is no longer part of this competition. Some would say she never was. But Pat, we have a very important segment to get to.
Oh, no, I forgot about my roll call.
Yeah, we have the first roll call of the season. I'm really hoping that it is a very good one because it is the first of the season. Got to kick things off with a bang. Pat, give us a roll call.
All right, here's the roll call. Buck Wild, crazy. I should mention, despite her issues with alcoholism, Toasty is handed a clock.
Yeah.
Tiger, Patience, Nibbles, Delicious, Wire, Like Dat, Boots, Toast. Oh, I already said Toasty. Beautiful, and also Somethin makes the cut. Then Flav lets Hood know his secret agent has informed him that she's not here for the right reasons because she, in fact, has an agent in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
That sent her here. Bama is also not here for the right reasons. He never really gets into the reasons behind that.
Yeah.
Then he says Spunky gets the final clock, and this is who goes home. H-Town. Why? She's concussed.
Does she go home or does she just go upstairs?
No, he sends her home because
he does.
She may die if she falls asleep tonight.
Yeah. That it's more of an insurance liability. You know.
Exactly. And then Chocolate, who I really felt like I didn't get enough time to spend with, but someone's got to go home.
Yep, somebody's got to go home, and the people that do go home are Hood, Bama, H-Town, and Chocolate. All right, so you would think that we're done with the show, but there is one more thing that happened.
There is, and I want to say, though, it's an interesting part of the show. When the girls are eliminated from the show, they retain their birth names.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're given back their given name. Right.
Yeah. And
such a problematic convention of the show.
But Dylan, as you pointed out minutes ago, this is when we thought the episode was over.
Yeah, usually it's deliberation, it's elimination, it's an obscene amount of champagne poured out on the ground for the ones we lost that evening, and then the credits roll.
But not this episode. Someone shit on the floor.
Somebody shits on the floor. One of the contestants of this reality TV program defecates on the floor. She is toasting with the other women to a night survived, and she all of a sudden is stricken with something. She heads upstairs. While she is making her ascent to the bathroom, she shits on the floor. Shit comes out of her dress and it lands on the floor. Everyone can smell it. And as Flavor is trying to investigate where the scent is coming from, someone points out that there's shit on the floor.
And the stairs. The stairs.
Yeah. So they accost her in the bathroom and they say, "Something, what's going on? Did you defecate on the ground?" And she says, "Yeah, I fucking did. I have to take a shit. Leave me alone."
She also said it could happen to anyone.
And
I don't think so.
No. Only people who are having a psychotic break. They're not in control of anything in their body. But Flav,
I've never shit on stairs.
I've never shit on stairs either. So Flav sees this moxie, this conviction, this, dare I say, courage. And he says, "You know what? I like something. She keeps it real." She shit on the floor.
It's a bigger man than me.
Yeah. Because, God knows what you would have done.
I'd have Big Dick Rick carry her out of the house.
Yeah.
Say shit somewhere else.
Shit somewhere else.
And I'm a nice person.
All right, that's it for us. Jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Leave 5 stars.
This is going to be so much fun, Del.
Oh, I'm so excited to break this season down. What a show it is. Go to patreon.com for the first season. Go to patreon.com for Vanderpump Rules with Rubes. Go to patreon.com for live meetups. And join us on YouTube at Bad TV. Put the dots after the T and the V. You'll find us. Join us on Instagram at Bad TV Podcast. We love you guys very much. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes!
Kaylin, say goodbye.
See you later.
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad TV.